Hello, welcome to the Sparkles of Gold channel. My name is Nicolas Polimenakos. Thanks for watching. Today's video is about Venus in Libra. She will be there for approximately 3 weeks. Her journey started actually yesterday, Thursday, September 29th. I'm making this video here on Friday, September 30th. I will bring up 5-6 different important dates and aspects for with Venus in Libra for the next 3 weeks. Then I'm super quickly going to talk about what it means for each rising sign. So this is an all signs video, but it's going to be fast. So Venus doesn't like to go particularly fast, but I'm going to in this video, and I will somehow balance and harmonize it all for you. All right, let's jump to it. Venus in Libra. Okay, it loves being there. Venus is at home in 2 signs in the zodiac. Taurus and Libra. Taurus being an earth sign, Libra being a cardinal air sign. Cardinal signs initiate, start things. There are the signs that start each season. So Libra started fall or spring in the southern hemisphere. All about the politics and the balancing of anything that you're relating to. People, your environment, the world, and the need to want to balance and harmonize those things. In the end, though, a lot of times you'll see this with relating with other human beings. It's about, there's a social aspect to this in a way of conversation or interacting that brings a more, the intent is a more balanced approach, but not just that. It's not going to work like Mars where there might be more caustic conversations or actions. But in this case, Venus in Libra wanting more, where your sensors are involved, but mostly your mind is harmonized with other people. That's the goal, at least. It doesn't mean that's going to happen. With the current retrograde that we have, Mercury retrograde, that's right now in Virgo, but it's been in Libra, it's touched upon this for the last 3 to 4 weeks. So we've already had a head start on our story about relationships and what happens with intimate others, with family members, with the world, with your environments. So let's just remember the key words here. Understanding, respect, wanting equality and balance, the attempt of that. And Venus in Libra is going to want to do that in such a sweet, loving way, and also at times a very sensual way too. And in that case, it uses the power of the air sign of the mind to find different ways to bring in a harmony and love and sensuality into relating. It could be the glass of wine that you're drinking together, the smell of frankincense in the room, which I have burning right now, things like that that touch your senses, that create the environment and the containers for people to be relating to and for people to be seen and heard. Again, doesn't mean it happens that way, but the attempt is there. And when Venus is at home in Libra, this is the vibe of the house that's going on. So you would look to see where Libra is in your chart, to see where this Venus transit is happening for the next 3 weeks. What I'm going to do for each sign is based off your rising sign. So if you don't know what that is, you can always hit me up for free. The contacts in the description. I'll tell you what your chart is for free and where your rising sign is. But this forecast, when I talk about each sign, is for your rising sign. All right, but first and foremost, let's jump to, I think, the first important thing that's going to happen here, and it's actually October 1st. I'll pull it up here. Let's see if I can get it here. It's October. This is October 1st right here. I have it for like close to 4 p.m. Pacific time, and right now we have Venus here at 3 degrees, and directly opposite from Venus is Jupiter in Aries. And what does this mean? Well, they're 180 degrees away from each other. It's called an opposition. It sounds like this, and it can be. Venus in Libra wants to create that harmonized place and wants you to be heard, and also wants to be heard. And not just heard, but there's a way of being, as in wanting a more tranquil, easygoing, but honest way of conversation, relating, having dinner together across from the table. He's doing this with Jupiter and Aries, which is the accentuation of self and wanting the self and to the quest of being oneself. Now, I'm using the word quest here because it's Jupiter. In the end, I think it's a good word to use with Jupiter. You're going to hear other things. It makes things big. It expands upon. It seeks out, and it's true. But in the long run, from beginning to end, Jupiter is always on a quest in whatever sign that it's in. And it's in the sign of Aries, which is about the sign of me. Look at me. And Libra is about the other. So you see the total relationship dynamic here. Jupiter in Aries is ruled by Mars. Venus is in her home at Libra. So you have a Venus-Mars story. Venus on one side, Mars on the other. Now this could be hot, actually, if they're playing off each other. But here it's about being heard for Aries, about Jupiter's throwing that. But there's another thing going on here, and it's about seeking something together, or maybe a further vision of the relationship, a further in the quest of relationship, that these two, if you were to balance Jupiter and Venus together, you're thinking about growth and expansion in all types of relationships, at least expounding on it and discussing those types of things. Okay, and that is happening here October 1st on a Saturday. I will have to say one more thing here. Something like this could set something off too. It's like, that's not just happy-go-lucky. This could set off like an extreme type of thing. And the reason why I'm saying this particular this weekend is because Mercury is stationing retrograde in the next 24 hours here on October 1st. So it's like there's Mercury 24. The next day, let's just go to the next day. This is October 1st. You see here it stops going retrograde. And not only that, on the opposite side of Mercury at 24 degrees is Neptune. So there's another opposition happening at the same time as Venus and Jupiter. You have Mercury and Neptune, and here the lines and boundaries get blurred in conversation. What's real? What's not? Why do I say what's real? What's not? Because of Neptune throwing its illusionary filter on Mercury. And Mercury in Virgo wants to get to the point and wants to be precise in what it's saying and doing and calculating. And Neptune will throw that off. If you were to use the two energies together, Mercury and Neptune, you would think of creative and imaginative solutions by balancing the Mercury in Virgo, and the other side with Neptune and Pisces, you're trying to come up with more an imaginatory or dream or a visionary type of way of doing things. If you take that in conjunction with what I said about Venus and Jupiter being together across the table from each other, you could see what happens here. You could see a lot of mishaps in words this weekend. Maybe it's not quite clear. A lot of talking. You're not understood. The other person's sort of confused. At the same time, getting past that challenge and finding a place of compromise and conversation and relating and actually taking something that was created, in the sense, the vision, Neptune, and bringing it into the situation when it comes to Venus and Jupiter being together and wanting to seek further into the relationship, grow and expand on its quest. Use the two together, but also know that Mercury stationing retrograde, it's kind of like some funny mishaps can happen, and try to keep it funny, by the way. Try to make it funny. And if you catch yourself catching feelings and getting all emotional, take a step back and do the Mercury thing as for quelling down your nervous system. Didn't know I was going to talk about October 1st that much, but I have to bring that in, so on and so forth. We're going to go to, at this point, I'm going to pick October 9th, and I'm going to bring the chart up here to October 9th, and I'm picking a huge day of the year for me. And you'll know, for people who've been watching my channel for this whole year, why I'm going to do this. Because now here's Venus at 13 degrees. And mind you, the underlying story going on here is Venus at 13 is getting closer to the sun. You see this? Something big is about to happen with Venus at the end of this video, at the end of her transit in 3 weeks. Venus is going to be together with the sun. I'm going to end with that. But right now, Venus at 13 degrees is directly opposite Chiron. I have October 9th here. We can do October 8th too. But it's basically October 8th to October 9th. Venus 13 across from Chiron. And if you've been watching some of my videos this year, you know how important Chiron has been this year for the Aries people, or if you have planets in Aries, and for the Aries part of your chart. Venus here is on the opposite of Chiron, and so here is a moment where, again, there's wounds exposed for the Aries story. And the conversation and the relating to those wounds and the pain is what Venus in Libra brings, and wants to bring a more cerebral solution and tip maybe a salve to all this. But when you're so raw, Chiron and Aries here, and you're dealing with hidden wounds and wounds that have been exposed this year, especially because of all the other transits that have happened this year, this could be another raw place in the cycle. Okay, and not only that, you see right next to it, the moon in Aries is there. So on an emotional level, this is a raw, reactive place, and we have to be careful here. And here we are. We have Venus on one side of the table, Mars on the other. Mars ruling Chiron and Aries and the moon in Aries. And we have the next chapter here of how they're relating with each other. To me, if I'm going to take the more sensitive, fulfilling route, I want to get and expose the pain and healing and be sensitive. But Venus in Libra is going to want to bring trust into that situation and want to create a place of safety and harmony where Aries and Chiron is heard, but Venus and Libra is also heard. But there's a way to integrate the two. Remember, you're not in a messed up position if you're in an opposition. The goal for an opposition is to balance the two and to find the middle space, which is the complete theme of October, really, because of Libra birthdays and other things going on. And it's been going on for the last 3-4 weeks with the Mercury retrograde in Libra. So this is constant negotiating. I want to use the word compromise, but sometimes you could feel compromised. So it's more about like, hey, I'm going to give a little bit on this angle, and in an organic way, this other angle is going to balance itself out. And so we are trying to find this way of moving together, or moving the two energies, in this case Venus and Chiron. But here is a major moment of the year for the Chiron and Aries story. You're in Aries. You have planets in Aries. You know, I've always told you this year that I'm feel for you. You can go back all the way to my videos about the Mars and Aries video that I did, the Chiron and so forth. You've had a story this year. It's connected to the eclipses. So just know that things are going to be raw, but Venus is going to want to go to the garden of words and the garden of senses to bring some healing to that place. We're going to go to October 13th, if I'm correct here. And the next interesting aspect is Venus now is at 18 degrees, closer to the sun at 20. We're getting there. And Venus is going to make a harmonious relationship with Saturn. And here is Saturn at 18 degrees. It's still retrograde. It's about to stop and go forward very, very soon for the last time. Then it's going to go all the way through until next spring when it goes into Pisces. But you have two air signs trining each other 120 degrees away from each other. Venus, Saturn. This is a constructive outlet. Saturn always wants to crystallize and build and deal with pillars and foundations and do the work. Along with Venus, it's going to solidify types of relationships. Contracts are signed, or you're still sitting across from that in that table. It was someone that you're relating to, and you are constructing the foundations and agreeing to foundations and things. And now I can use the word compromise here, because here is about a solid compromise. It's almost like what's written down on the paper after the discussion. I'm just using that as a metaphor. But also, too, you know, these are a situation, too, where there's a groundedness of Saturn and the way it's relating to that relationship planet of Venus that can give some calm, actually, and great discussion and grounded discussion, because they're both air signs. Let's remember here, too, that it's not just about relationships. Venus deals with resources and cash, money sometimes, too. So you could see in situations like this could be like, oh, the loan in the bank I was trying to get is finalized. I was thinking about consolidating my resources with someone else, or moving things over from one account to the other. I'm giving you examples here. And this is a time where it flows and everything's clear mentally and on paper. Between Venus and Saturn. So that happens on the 13th. I will jump to close to the 18th here. Yes, I'll do it right here. Here's the 17th. Venus, so close now, a degree away from the sun. You see Venus here, right there, and then there's 24, 23, getting close. But Venus at 23 is starting to make, on the Monday, October 17th, a harmonious relationship with Mars and Gemini. The next day, it's exact. And basically here, we have some actually beautiful, free-flowing conversation between Mars and Venus, and the mental part of things, and exchanging ideas. And the conversation can go on for hours here. Basically with Mars and Gemini, and the way they're both air signs and they get along. There's a little language that they speak with each other, and Venus and Mars are flowing there, and that actually could be very inspiring and turn on in intimate relationships and flirting and stuff like that. But I think past that, you have another good chapter in the story that's happening with Venus this month, and what it's been through with the Mercury. Now you could see Mercury at this point is, moving forward in Libra at 11 degrees. And so a lot of the conversations and trying to find out the facts, or to filter things out, and the decisions that couldn't be made during the retrograde they're being made here with Venus Saturn that just happened, and then with Venus Mars, everything is starting to solidify, and it feels pretty good. There's other aspects going on in the chart here, right? There's other things, but I'm just concentrating on the Venus and Libra thing, the ways you could take advantage of it, okay? So then we get to the next interesting day, because we just had a bunch of interesting solidifying. We started with oppositions. Then we have Venus Saturn, Venus Mars that are like triangulating with each other and dialed in with each other. Then the next thing down the line in the story is right here. So here I'm at October 9th, 19th. I'll just go to the next day. Just pick the 20th. So the 19th and the 20th. We'll go the 19th. Here's Venus at 25 here. And right here, you'll see me highlight Pluto here at 26 degrees. Now this isn't harmonizing. This is a challenge. Venus square Pluto. Now we get towards the end of this story, and here's where a power play is involved. Here's where, when Pluto is anything involved with Pluto, there's going to be a power struggle, a power play, but there's also going to be the subconscious need, and it will become conscious because it's relating to an inner body planet like Venus. So everything's going to come to the surface, where the dynamics in the relationship, what was discussed and what was dealt with in the last 3 to 4 weeks, all the things I said earlier in this past video, the truth is going to be on the table now, and there's going to be some tension, and it's about control and power. If you try to go deeper than that, you can actually filter out what is not working and what is poisonous and what is just rotting in the relating between Venus and Pluto. And this, on a long-term level, goes all the way back to the end of last year and the beginning of this year, when Venus was retrograde in Capricorn, and it touched upon these degrees of 24, 25, 26 cardinal, where Pluto is now, and where Venus is at 25 cardinal, and the sun. So Venus has been on a journey this year, and it's at a major interesting, not crisis point here, but it's a gut check with Pluto. And it's like, all right, what is going to be eliminated to go forward? We just did all this work, harmonious work, but there's still a couple things left. And here is where it can get heavy, okay? So just know that. We get into, it's already happening. We get into pretty much, I will do right here on October 22nd. There's Venus at 29 degrees. I will back it up an hour or two. I'll back it up there. This is in the afternoon on the 22nd Pacific, that day from 1 to 3 p.m. Pacific. Venus is conjunct the sun. They call it a conjunction. And when it's at the heart of the sun, they call it, this process is called CAZIMI. I can go further down the line. Maybe I should do a video just on what that means. But Venus is going to the heart of the sun and being melted down by the sun to its purity and form. It's a major point in the end of the cycle. If you notice, it's at 29 degrees. We started at 0, and we're at the end now. Within an hour or two, whatever, not too long after that day, Venus is going to go into Scorpio, and the sun's going to go into Scorpio. This is a major point in the Venus cycle for hundreds of years, actually. It starts off a huge, long cycle with Venus transits every 8 years. But in general, there is an ending happening here with Venus and Libra, a true ending. And it is something to be used and utilized. And it's, if you think about it as a meditation, as a place of purification, in the Libra part of your chart, or if you have anything in cardinal signs at 29 degrees exact, I would say 28, 29, huge moment here. I like this type of situation. Mercury did it not too long ago, was at the heart of the sun at 0 degrees Libra, which I found very interesting, that now Venus is there at the end part of the sign. This is important here, and I just want to give it to you simple. Think of a things or something in you in the Libra part of your chart that you are letting go into the fire, into the cauldron of rebirthing. And there's tears to be shed there and a letting go. And at the same time, such a clarity and gift that the universe brings at these moments. So think about it in that way when you're looking at the Libra part of your chart, okay? That's really simple. Now, I'll go through each sign really quick. That's close up on my face, isn't it? Isn't it? But I'm going to do it like this. All right, we're going to start with Aries. Aries Rising. All this Libra, Venus and Libra stuff is actually happening in your relationship house. So it all is about relationships, about you and the other, and the harmonization of them and the attempt to do that. I know at some point in this transit, there's going to be wounds that you're going to have and exposed, and you're going to have to deal with it. Speak your emotions. Try to put the sword down and the shield down, because Venus and Libra doesn't work that way and wants to work in a different way of conversating on the couch or across the dinner table or in front of the fire or where things are chill and calm. But your relationships are all on the table during this 3 weeks, and your relationship to others. Taurus Rising. This all has to do with your daily activities. It's the 6th house. It's the little things that get you through the day. And so Venus and Libra there is going to want to find a way to harmonize those little things and maybe find new ways for you to set your schedule to how you start the morning, how you deal with the middle of the day, and how you end. It's a daily work activity thing. It can be connected to your health, but let's just keep it that way, as your body is a system, and that system needs a little bit of help. And Venus tries to come in and bring in some of the balanced approach and view in that area. Gemini Risings, this is happening in your 5th house of pleasure and in the sense of creative output and expression. This is a great place. This is great social conversation here, great creative expression with other people, and being heard and seen, and taking thought and ideas and what happens there and through the body, and creating and expressing that to the world and to other people. This is a great transit for you. It's not, you also have, Mars in your sign, in your 1st house right now too. So take advantage of this, because at the end of the month, Mars is going retrograde, and then things start to go a little funky for months for you. So enjoy this time with Venus being in your 5th. My Cancer Risings, this touches upon home and foundations and memories and your connection to family and what home means to you. Venus is going to want to be in Libra, is going to want to beautify that area in your chart, and maybe take certain types of conflict in the emotional sense and try to find solutions with words and relating. And Venus in Libra is going to try to find its way. I will give you a little bit of warning here, that there could be passive aggressiveness that happens with some of this, with home and family and memories, where maybe things are coming across a little too easy and tranquil with Venus and Libra, and sometimes it doesn't really get to the truth. And so there needs to be things that unearth at the bottom part of your chart, the 4th house, and get through tough emotional conversations. And in that sense, if you look at it as a goal to walk through some of those tough situations, then Venus and Libra can bring the cohesiveness and the balance in the end. Okay. My Leo Risings, this is all about your siblings, your mind, your quick thoughts, what's surrounding you in your immediate world. I think this is a good thing for you. This actually is a place to get things done. I would look this is going to sound funny, but I want you to walk out the door of wherever you live, and I want you to walk around the block or wherever you are, and I want you to notice the beautiful things around you and how you relate to them. I know that sounds funny, but just walk around your area and notice things. Write them down, okay? Something's there for you. My Leo risings. Virgo rising. This is happening in your second house of money, possessions, but money and resources. And here there's a way for you to actually come across, I think, in a good way with setting goals there, relating to others when it deals with money, how you balance your bank accounts, how you see your worth in yourself and the work that you do. And maybe it's a point of like, hey, I'm worth more, I can ask for this, but the way you ask for or the way you go out into the world petitioning that is in a soothing, chill, charming type of way that Venus brings into that area. And by using that vessel of charm, by using that vessel, I hear you, do you hear me? I think you and I can negotiate something here and maybe start this project, and this is how we'll divvy up the profits and blah blah blah. That's what could happen there for you in the next 3 weeks. At the end it gets kind of funky though, but make sure you stay steady and don't worry too much. Virgo rising. My Libra risings, the light's on you. This is where you get some new pants, new wardrobe. You get your hair done, colored. You're beautifying your world, yourself, and you're looking through that lens, the world, and wanting to connect and harmonize with people, your friends, your family, social gatherings, and also really just you. How you look at yourself in the mirror, and finding the calm in your mind, and finding that place of balance and tranquility within yourself, and to give yourself a break here the next 3 weeks that you're like, okay, I've been going through a lot with communications and all my relationships, and some of them have been hard, but this next 3 weeks I'm at home with myself, and I'm hearing other people, and I'm going to make sure that they hear me. And I'm not going to have a passive-aggressive blow-up. I'm not going to let things fester underneath. I'm going to come across and say what I have to say the way I do it, and set nice, healthy boundaries, and those boundaries support harmony and healing with yourself and the rest of the world. My Scorpio risings, pay attention to your dreams. There's something going on here during this past retrograde with Mercury. The way you're communicating, what's coming through other realms. I also think this is a very enclosed, rehabilitative place where this is happening to you. So your relation to yourself and the confronting of with yourself about things that do not quite work anymore. You're a Mars-ruled sign. Sometimes things, there's scars, and your shell is super tough, and Venus and Libra here in your 12th house wants to help out with a little bit of that, and wants to look within for answers and for clarity, and in the end, pay attention to what comes through filters. And when I mean filters, the symbolism in the world, your dreams, your daydreams, places, things and vessels that bring secrets to you, messages, and be real with them. This is not a caustic thing. This is a healing thing. It's about balance in that realm of your world. My Sagittarius risings, communities, everything, your hopes, wishes, and dreams, and how they fulfill themselves in their community. You have an amazing planet here, Venus and Libra. I would put yourself out there. I be your vivacious self and your fiery self there, and put things out there. You're going to find partnerships, people backing you up. There's a way to do it. We could do this together. Do you hear what my wishes and dreams are? Oh, yes, I will support you, blah, blah, blah. It's all there. Put it out for the next 3 weeks there. Venus and Libra is on your side in that area. Capricorn risings. Did I get this right? I think I did. Capricorn risings, this is happening in your house of your public face, your career. So I actually, when it comes to how you show yourself career-wise and what's on your metaphorical business card, that you revamp that a little bit, that you take a little bit of the hardness off and add a little bit of the sweetness of Venus on that, and how you present yourself. Sweetness is on your side here. Charm and tranquility and balance is on your side in this area of your chart of career and your public face. So use it to your advantage. You might catch some caustic activity from other people who don't see this coming for you or are not used to it. And don't worry about that. Just take in a Venus and most importantly, internally, when you're dealing with worry that no one else can see, take some breaths, go for the walk, do Venus-y type of things where you're engaging your senses and you're calming things down so it helps you outwardly when you're projecting yourself in the public face. But we all know you worry on the inside. Venus is on your side externally and internally. My Aquarius is your 9th house of expansion, philosophical thought, higher truth. Venus is there to bring harmony. You can have great debate with people here, Aquarius, to touch those parts of your mind and to push the boundaries and the progressiveness that you like and bring the alternative ways of learning and seeking truth for yourself and with other people. Venus and Libra and Aquarius harmonize here. You can go super cool places, and it can actually be such an electric turn on for you. And the Venus and Libra is going to enjoy the rhetoric, enjoy the exploration of different ideas and truths, and that questing that happens in your 9th house. Take advantage of this is the great thing, because you've had Saturn. Saturn's been there for a while. So Venus comes in here and brings some good times in that area of your chart. And finally, my Pisces risings, this happens in that mysterious, occulty 8th house place that really has to do with intimacy and shared resources. Venus and Libra is harmonizing again in this place for you, and the discussions that happen about shared resources, and in the end, intimacy, what intimacy means for you, Pisces rising, is something that you like. Venus in general flows with Pisces energy. There's a type of relationship here. It sometimes could not connect, but I think in your case here, finding safety in the sensitivity in yourself, and the sensitivity that happens when you are in an intimate situation and what is exposed there. Venus and Libra will bring the words, the conversations, and the balance, and kind of almost dream-like harmonize it all. It's not perfect, but it's there. And that is the end of my video. I did a quick one on the fly here. I'm going to try to put out an October video here in the next 24 hours. I do want to say that in the end here, we have a 3-week journey. Venus is blazing through. Mars is in Gemini. At the end of the month, we get close to here, Mars is going to go retrograde. And this is a huge setup for something bigger. And it's the eclipses that are about to happen at the end of the month in the Scorpio, Taurus parts of your chart. They are both ruled by Mars and Venus. You could see how the story has been building since last November when the eclipses have been happening. This negotiation, this place of seeking harmony could help you in the end with some harder type of realities, or letting go, or bringing in something new when the eclipses come in within days after this. So keep that in mind, that you're doing work and setting up stuff for then. Because if you did do the work with conversation and harmony and looking at alternative views and making sure you heard other people and they heard you, and there was some balance and solidifying in the way you were relating, that gives you the foundation to get through the eclipses, and actually brings evolvement in the Scorpio, Taurus part of your chart, but the Libra part of your chart too, and anywhere in the chart where Mars and Venus rules that part of your chart, you'll see the changes happening. Hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, support me. Go down to the bio, take a look at anything you want. I got a newsletter, I have Instagram. I'm actually going to put all my energy onto this channel here with the shorts, so on and so forth. I hope you enjoyed the video. Send it to your friends, share it. Please comment. Tell me what this means to you. Tell me where Libra is in your part of the chart. And if you don't know what that is, hit me up. I will let you know. Until next time, I'll see you on the next video.